landed immigrant cards from the Canadian government, they were more officially documented in the new country than they ever had been in the old. My younger sister was born in Winnipeg, but we didn't stay there long. After a year or two of living along the Red River, we moved north 500 kilometers to a town that doesn't exist anymore. But even after we moved north, we continued to drive south for visits as often as my parents could. What I remember about those houses in Winnipeg, at 23 Harmony Cove and 168 Sterling Avenue, at 317 and 106 River Road, at 10 St. Anne's Place, where my extended family lived, the houses I visited throughout my childhood, is that the doors were always open. The screen doors would bang all day long with cousins running into the house to grab a snack and then out the door again, down Harmony Cove and up Sterling Avenue, 100 feet and into another door. Perhaps I was always a wanderer. No house claimed me. I could wake in one, eat in another, and bed down in yet a third. So what does it mean to be from a place? What rights does this give you? For what status does a place of origin qualify a person? Am I from India or Pakistan? The ground shifted beneath our feet. My father was an electrical engineer working for Manitoba Hydro, the province's electrical power authority, and it was his job that took us north. Jenpeg was a small settlement of single and double trailers built by Manitoba Hydro and perched on the banks of the Nelson River deep in the great boreal forests of the Canadian North. There were 5 residential streets named 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, a street with businesses on it that we all, perhaps optimistically yet accurately, called downtown, and a street simply called the Main Road, running perpendicular and connecting the other 6. When we first moved to Jenpeg, our family lived on 2nd Street, and then later when my father was promoted, we moved to another trailer on a little crescent off Main Road called, also optimistically, Nob Hill. At the time, Jenpeg was several hours by car on dirt roads from Woboden, the closest provincial town, northwest of Jenpeg, on the trunk road from Winnipeg to Thompson, a mining town even further north, where my uncle Iftikhar later moved with his family. Another town was even closer, Cross Lake, on the Cross Lake Indian Reserve, but it was inaccessible by road from Jenpeg, except in the winter, when the lake had frozen over and you could drive across the ice. It is of this isolated town with its dirt roads and gravel driveways that I have most of my earliest memories. It was there that I first attended school, there that I learned to read and write, there where I first looked up into the sky and asked my father questions about the designs I saw written there. Mine was, in many ways, an idyllic childhood. We stayed close to home. My sisters and our friends and I would play in our yards and the fields around town, warned by our parents to stay within sight of the buildings, since the woods that ringed us were home to bears, wolves, wolverines, moose, and other animals besides. In the winters, we would snowshoe or cross-country ski or drag our toboggans to a slope behind the school and slide down into a hollow at the edge of the woods. My father was there to work on the hydroelectric system of a generating station that would dam the Nelson River and provide power to Winnipeg and other cities to the south. That was an era of great projects. All across the Canadian North, the provinces were diverting local water systems into a few larger rivers and then damming those rivers. After extensive surveying of various rivers, Manitoba Hydro had identified the Nelson River, which flows from Lake Winnipeg north through the Cross Lake system and ultimately emptying into Hudson Bay, as an ideal site for a hydroelectric.